Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rooted Coop channel. Today we're going to be mixing up another batch of our Castile soap. Just going to be using pure olive oil. I had already measured out my lye and water, so I have my lye water solution sitting there cooling. I already measured out my rose fragrance oil that I will be using for this batch. I'm just going to be measuring up my olive oil that we're going to be using. This is going to be a 2-pound batch, so I'll just be pouring up 2 pounds or 32 ounces of olive oil into my container, getting everything prepped and ready to go. It's just going to be a traditional Castile soap, and we're just going to be using the olive oil in this. You know, the Castile soap is known for its gentle nature, and so it's very suitable for those who have sensitive skin or allergies because it doesn't have any of the other ingredients that can sometimes be irritating. Just double checking to make sure that my lye water solution is all ready. It's a little bit warmer than I probably should have, but I was in a rush trying to get a lot of things done, getting ready for all the upcoming markets and trying to get some things taken care of. Just going to get the stick blender and we're going to start working to bring this up to trace. And I probably should have went ahead and added my fragrance oil about now, but I did not, and I will end up adding that later. And this is starting to thicken up a little bit and starting to get a good trace on it. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my fragrance oil now. Like I say, I wish I would have added it earlier. This batch ended up, I had several other distractions that came about during it, and so it all kind of thickened up on me faster than I was able to deal with it. But it still all works out in the end. I'm making this for a customer of mine that she loves the Castile soap and she loves the rose scent. She has found that it helps her with her eczema, so I was trying to get some of this made up for her. And of course, about the time I should have been pouring this up, I got a phone call that I had to take, so I stepped away for just a few seconds and it all started thickening. So when I should have been pouring, I wasn't able to pour, and it just kind of seemed like this whole batch was just one thing after another. I didn't have all of my stuff together. I had to grab a spatula. But I wanted to show y'all that even if your soap does stuff like this, you can still work with it. It may not be ideal, but it still comes out in the end. Because like I say, I should have already had this poured up when it was more fluid. I was trying to get it a little bit thicker, and then I got distracted with a phone call. And then I forgot to grab a spatula before I got started, so I had to grab a spatula. So it was just one thing after another. And then I'm doing it in these beautiful little molds, so they'll come out looking like little flowers. And so that made it a little bit more difficult too, because you don't have the mold like you would in a wooden mold to tap down to get those air bubbles out and to make it go into place. So this made it a little bit more complicated. And so as you can see, I'm just having to kind of scoop and scrape it down into the mold. I sped this part up because I fiddled with it, trying to get it all worked down to make them come out to be salvageable bars. So it's definitely thickened up. Like I say, the batter started moving very quickly, so about the time I was ready to pour it, that's when I got pulled away for just a few seconds. So that's how fast it could all go. I think I was on the phone for like 30 or 40 seconds, and then I ended up having to reach back to get a spatula, so that took 30 seconds. So that's not very long, but it sure made a difference. And so I'm just now taking my little spoon spatula here and just kind of trying to get it down into these molds. Again, if I had put it into a wooden mold, I could tap it down to get them down in there a little bit better, but using these molds, there's not much support to those, and so that's why I'm trying to scrape it down and get them in there to where they will be in the mold like I want them to be. I sped this up because again, I was trying to get it all worked in there. Okay, so I've got them in there. We're going to come back the next day for our unmolding, and I wanted y'all to see that this is what they all ended up looking like. Again, they're just, no colorant was added. It's just the rose fragrance and the olive oil and then the lye water solution, so it's just a standard Castile soap. They still turned out to be beautiful bars. And I also, a trick that I had learned is sometimes some of your fragrance oils or different things can cause some ashing to take place. And if you will rub your bars with a little bit of olive oil, that seems to make a big difference in helping with that. I didn't show that on here, but I did come back later and I just took a little bit of olive oil on my glove and just gently rubbed over the bars just to help prevent the ashing from taking place. But here is what they look like, and I hope that y'all enjoyed this. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember to stay clean, stay creative, stay rooted. We'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.